What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Abe. This is Elite Dangerous. We're going through the training modules. I think the next one is combat related. So let's just jump right into it. You'll notice I've got a headset on instead of speakers. I'm trying out something different. But let's go over to training. Training simulations. We did the basic flight and the docking and the travel training simulation. And now let's get into combat. There are a lot of complexities to everything in this game. I'm going to avoid getting too much into too many of the details, but hopefully I'll give you a little bit of information that you can improve with. So we remember what our targeting key is from one of the earlier. There we go. I use my targeting button. I bring him into the middle, and then down in the lower left here, you see that little spinning thing? Now you see where it says Solar Fluke, Harmless, Wanted, No Faction. Well, that's a picture of the enemy that we have targeted, and that's the information we have about him right now. So, to catch up with them...
If you don't engage the target, he's just going to get away.
Yeah.
Deploy your hard points, Commander.
Alright, I will do it. Now, sorry, I've got a little problem with my cables there. Alright, if you don't remember what your hard points are, and this is telling you, probably in the upper right or in the middle, U or joystick 5. Don't be ashamed, as usual. This is a training simulation. This is the best place to do this, to go in and figure out what your buttons are. So for this, deploy hard points, it says U or joystick 5. Well, which of the buttons on my joystick is joystick 5? If I come in here, I click on that, and, well, maybe it's this. Nope, that's joystick 12. That's not the one I want. What about this one? Nope, that's subsystems. And what about this one? There we go. The fact that it comes back like this and doesn't change, that means I've hit joystick 5. So, alright, so I know what joystick 5 is now. And I can get back into the game and deploy my multi-cannon.
Concentrate your primary fire on the target, Commander. Your little friend here has a combat rank of Harmless.
So, while I catch up to them, some things to think about. The way these targeting systems work is either, it's like throwing a football. Do you want to try to personally lead your target yourself, which means if they're flying over in the direction they're flying, try to get your target up in front of them? Or do you want to just try to worry about getting your reticle over the ship itself? This is a personal preference. So if you hit 4, you go over and you find your ship, and then come down to pilot preferences, and then sight mode is trailing versus leading. So leading means that once, let me get my target back in front of me here. Alright, so there we go. So there, I'll slow myself down. Alright, so you notice how the reticle is off of the ship. It's like right in front of it. Well, that's where it's going to be, right? So this reticle is leading, right? Now, if I go back here and I select trailing, the reticle will always be on the ship itself. Right? You see that? You see how the reticle is like just focused right on that ship? Well, it's personal preference whether you want to try to align with the ship itself or some point out in front of it. Now, the game will provide a little bit of information on that. I think I like trailing. That's just me. But, alright, let's get into it a little bit. Looks like the girls are doing a bit of barking. Oh, there we go. So it looks more like leading. Yeah. Alright. Turn it back to trailing.
Just a few hits should do it, Commander. You got this one.
Looks like my wife's home. Hello, wife. She has no real interest in being a YouTube star. Nor do I guess. But anyway, I guess I'll wrap up this video and go see how her day was. But so we cleared this first ship out, and as you can see with the red rings around it compared to their image of their ship, which is there on the left, and the image of my ship there on the right, that there's no blue rings around there. That means they don't have shields. So the little decreasing number that's now 10%, that's their armor. And you can see the 100% under mine, which means that my armor is 100%, and those blue rings mean that I've got full shields. There we go, and that's good. All right.
Nice work, Commander. You're about 3,000 credits richer. Bad news is, it looks like his buddy is out for revenge. This target might put up more of a fight, so I'd say more firepower's in order. Might want to switch to your secondary fire group to bring your pulse laser online. It would be much easier to dispatch this target with some pulse lasers.
All right, so basically, you can see now that this ship has this ship has shields, and it's easier to take down shields with a laser as opposed to. I don't know about that. They're putting up a bit of a fight. So, there's a lot to be learned and said in this game about tactics and flight and how you want to aim yourself. And as I'm doing this tutorial, I'm finding that my button layout is not optimal for the type of flying that I think I need to do. So I'm going to spend a little time on my own rectifying that, and then maybe I'll tell you what my thoughts were about why what I had currently was wrong, or bad anyway. There we go.
Target destroyed. I'm impressed, Commander. Just remember, it pays to know your enemy. Not all targets will crumble so easily, so I suggest you choose your fights wisely.
Yeah. So, mostly they're showing you the difference in weapon groups and basic combat. Let's see, can we... No? Alright. So I guess that's it for this training. We'll talk a lot more in the future about fighting, dogfighting, positioning. And as you saw, I'm not very good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm the greatest. I'm just kind of muddling my way through the game like many other people. So hopefully you got a little something out of that. There's trailing versus leading, and those can make a difference depending on how you prefer to fly. Figuring out your button layouts is always key, and something you should use and get on top of during these training simulations and not in the real world. So I was finding, as I was flying, that my secondary fire button uses the same finger as my main positioning hat switch. So if I'm using my thumb to fire my secondary weapon, I can't use my thumb to continue to position myself. So I'm going to have to adjust what I've got going on here, because that's no good. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.